ABSL Summit. Transform to thrive.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, Amelia. So let me start with an introduction. My name is Agnieszka. I am representing Generation X. Career-focused, consumed by ambition, striving for high social status, constantly tired, because working from morning to night.
Okay, so hello everyone, I'm Amelia, and I'm a representative for Generation Z. So I am naive, idealistic, impatient, selfish, oversensitive, we don't respect the value of work. And let me quote a few media headlines. So, Generation Z, the boogeyman of employers. They want to earn a lot and have a lot of free time. Young people have expectation of employers and are not afraid to speak about them.
Lots of stereotypes were just said, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about them. In your auto presentation, as a representative of your generation, with which statements would you really agree and which would you disagree? Because to overcome age biases, we really need to debunk them.
Okay, so I would start with the quotation that we are idealistic. And I kind of think that is true, because in my opinion, we are more emotional driven than result driven. And like I see in my parents, they are focused on the goal. I'm also focused on the goal, but if I made a decision, I make it with emotions. I make it to make an impact, to see how people will act to that and how people will react to my actions. So I would say that I am idealistic and I'm emotional driven. And also, I would say that I am impatient. I grew up in times where I could get anything just by one click, or just by searching for an answer in Google and finding it in seconds. When I wanted to get something, I could have ordered it and get it in a few days. And in times where my mom grew up, where you grew up, Agnieszka, you have to wait. You had to wait for something. You had to be patient, and it's obvious that if you have everything like in one click, you will be patient. So that's the things I think that are true. But I don't think that we are boogeymen for employers. I'm sure that we are the change that is needed sometimes, and that will happen. Maybe it's scary because it's different. Maybe we're different. We are different. As the world changing, we're changing. So, yeah, I wouldn't say that we are boogeymen for employers. We are a change that is going to happen.
Thank you. And you know, my son is at your age, right? So let me maybe respond to the stereotypes that I mentioned about Generation X. 1989, it was mentioned today several times because of the anniversary of the elections. I was 15 in 89, and I graduated in 98, and that was the time when I started my first job, right? So the time of transformation for the country. And the expectation was that we will do this transformation. So definitely this career-focused and consumed by ambition is very true about us, about our generation, because we also felt like not only that we individually can change something, can transform, but we do it also for the country. So there were some egoistic reasons, I'm sure, but there were also some idealistic as well reasons that we need to show to the world who we are in Poland and that we can actually do great things. But indeed, this caused workaholic behaviors very often. So the ethos of work was huge, right? We were really working from morning till evenings. And you know, it becomes a habit at a certain point of time. So ultimately, it also leads to the fact that we are very tired. So part of the stereotypes is true. But I wanted to really refer to the reasons of why we were so career-focused and consumed by ambition, right? That it wasn't only egoistic, it was also doing something for the country and proving that Poland is on the map as a really a country of possibilities, of development, and we were proud by what we were achieving, by the numbers, by GDP growth. We took it also individually as our own achievement. But let me, Amelia, ask, because, I've been working in corporate world since 98, and I've been also in recruitment, right? So when employers are now looking for employees, of course, your generation is representing a huge talent pool. And it's important for us, and that's why we do the reverse mentoring, because we want to learn from you as well. So we would like to know, what are the values that are important for you? What drives you? What motivates you? How you select your work, your employer? What is behind your decisions in terms of values and motivations?
Okay, so definitely purpose. We need to have a purpose and we need to make a change. It's like we often say that we want to change the world, and that's true. We want to do something that matters. And about that and about things we focus on when we search for a job and when we're trying to find a perfect place for ourselves. I think that the new LinkedIn filter shows that, because when I prepared for a conversation, I found out that 1 year ago, LinkedIn added the new filter, which is commitments of a company. So of those commitments, you can search for work-life balance, for diversity, inclusion, for, environmental problems and caring for them, also for growth and opportunities to personal growth. So I would say that we want to learn, we want to learn a lot, we want to make a difference, we want to be heard, we want to work in teams where we will express ourselves. Maybe not every time will be our choice and our idea will be used, but we will get a feedback and we will be seen, we will be heard. So I would say the first thing, as I said in the beginning, is a purpose. We want to do something that matters. And besides that, we will care about those environmental problems, social problems, and diversity problems that we can see in the world. And okay, so if we think about what we expect, I have a question for you, Agnieszka. What the employers expect from us, and do you think we can find a way to satisfy both my side of my generation and for your side, because we differ? And what do you think about that?
So I will again speak as the voice of my generation in terms what I would be expecting from my employees. Perfect, and yeah. I know my colleagues would as well. Few things. And I will start with the idealistic one, loyalty. But I guess this is not possible. We will get to that. But yes, because we were raised in the companies. When you were introducing yourself, you were saying, "Hi, my name is Anna. I work in this department, and I have been with the company for 25 years." And there was, wow. So we would expect loyalty, but I guess this is not realistic expectation to expect you to stay with one company for 25 years. But then we would expect quality. We really would want you to understand how the work should be done, to strive for the best quality and deliver the right results. And one more thing is about the learning and becoming autonomous, right? So of course there is always the onboarding process. However, our generation was taught to discover knowledge on our own, to dig into the books and ask around, right? But quickly learn what needs to be done instead of being hand-holded. So I often hear that it irritates my generation when some employees, instead of checking in the manual or instruction how things should be done. They are just expecting this knowledge to be handed over on the plate. So being self-learning and striving for being autonomous in your work, that would be another expectation.
Okay, so about being autonomous, I think that's a great point, because we have to learn how to not expect to get everything from the plate, because we are used to that. And I'm saying this, that is true, because I know it's true and I see it for myself. I'm trying to fight it since I began my career in social activism. And I think that that's a thing we have to learn, because we adapted to the times we lived in. We got everything we wanted. So right now we have to adapt to give and to learn from ourselves, because the employers will expect us to.
In a way, that's how we raised you, right? And
Yes,
but at home we raised you differently, but at work we expect something different. But let me ask you about this loyalty thing, right? So the question that I often had in my head, employing such young people like you, was, what do I need to do to keep you longer than 1 year in a company? What would you expect? Is it even possible? And if yes, under which conditions you would stay longer with a company? Because for us as employers, it's clearly certain ROI, right? We hire someone, there is an effort put into the hiring, then there is onboarding. So we would like to keep this person for a little bit longer. So give us your perspective. What keeps you?
Okay, so for me, I will speak for my own perspective. What will make me stay at work longer than I think? First of all, growth and opportunities to learn new things and try new things. I don't want to do the same thing every day, so I want diversity. Also, I love, as a young generation, those brainstorming sessions, those interactive sessions where I can share my ideas, I can be creative. So maybe that's just for me, or this is for all my friends in my generation. But I want to do things that interested me and that are sometimes different than I do every day. And that's it. But also, I would say the comfort of being in a supportive environment, of feeling like I belong there, not having an imposter syndrome. So that's the thing I would try to find in a job that would be perfect for me, and to stay longer at work. But I don't think I would stay longer than 5 years. I've heard that.
But that's good enough, right? 5 years.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard it from some research that in the next years, in the next decade, it will be needed to change job in 5 years, because the technology will be growing and growing, and then becoming better and better and more advanced, and it will be needed to change sometimes jobs, not even places of a job, but maybe the type of job. Okay, let's find. So if we think about how we can stay longer, so if we stay longer, we have to communicate. So Agnieszka, I have a great question for you that will be hard, but I know you have some great answers for it. How we can communicate effectively? How can we communicate better to understand ourselves? How can you see that?
That's interesting question, because look at me and Amelia, Gen X, Gen Z, right? I think the ways of communications are the biggest difference between our generations, right? I like deep conversations. I like to understand everything. I like to have a big picture, right, before I get into details. And I very often see that you lose patience quickly, right? You expect
True.
quicker messages, more frequent, instead of longer but deeper conversations. So to me, it was a big learning when I was working in one of the companies, and actually the communication team was consisting of my employees who were telling me, Agnieszka, for all employee meeting, this is the agenda because these are the topics that are of interest for employees, and these are the formats that we will do, right? So very interactive, quick, not boring monologue for 15 minutes. So to me, it was a big learning, and I really would like to get your perspective. You know, how you communicate on a daily basis. I assume email is no longer there. So tell me how you communicate, how you absorb information.
I think that my communication base is based online. So if we want to communicate effectively in a company, we need to implement a different kind of communication by chats, by I don't know what else, but not emails. I don't usually check my emails. Maybe sometimes because right now I have to, but
I forced you.
Yes, but before that I didn't have to use those emails, so I didn't want to even choose this kind of communication. So I would say that first thing to do to communicate effectively is find new ways to communicate and new not platforms that will both sides satisfy.
Okay. Let's talk about another stereotype. Well-being and flexibility, right? Because that's me representing the generation being mostly workaholics. We hear a lot about how you cherish well-being. And in all honesty, this is something that I want to learn from you. How to keep this balance between working well, but not to be overtired, right? And have this well-being also in my head when I'm working. So what would be your take on how to keep this flexibility, well-being, and keeping productivity at the same time?
Big question. First of all, well-being and work-life balance. Right now, I can say that I try to have this work-life balance, but I don't work like normally in a company. I just running a foundation, so it's for me like a job, not like a job, but a fun thing to do every day.
Amelia, you just took the Matura exam. You opened your foundation. You work a lot. So how do you do that to keep well-being and productivity?
Like for me, working was learning for Matura exam. I was forced to learn to prepare for Matura exam, and for me, like doing projects, meeting with people online, with my team, and finding those inspirations were like fun. Were like free time. For me, it's something that keeps me going, that keeps me motivated, and it's like resting. So if we talk about work-life balance, I would say that maybe I don't apply perfectly for it, but I try to focus on work-life balance by finding time for my friends, from my family, from my city, because right now I'm in this big bubble of activists and of people who are more important in the world, and sometimes I tend to forget about those who surround me in the local environment, who do not have those same goals, who do not have the same values as me. So for me, life is spending time with people who live with me and who surround me.
But I need to ask you for something, because you surprised me during our last meeting, you remember, online meeting, and I will use the language of my children. What are the life hacks that you would recommend to us in communication and in productivity, especially related to technology? What would you name?
I would say using AI tools. I use them a lot, and it kind of helps me to do everything faster and better. So I would say that try to learn about AI tools and how to use them effectively and well. Exactly.
This was really a huge learning, because let me summarize that. preparing for this session, we had the online meeting, and actually there were two Amelias popping up during the meeting, and we learned that the second one is AI, who is simply recording the whole meeting, taking notes and taking actions from the meeting. Huge saving time. So I guess the technology, how you use it, how you are not afraid of it, is something that we can really learn from you.
Yeah. It's good to use the technology because you can do something faster, and saving time in those times is a must-have. Yeah. So so if we talk about the communication and if we talk about the stereotypes, we talk about the differences, right? So you many times said that you tried reverse mentoring, and what do you think you can? How can we benefit from each other's differences? How can we learn from each other? What we can learn from each other? Or for example, what I can learn from you, and what can you learn from me? What do you think?
To me, the biggest value is to learn from you how you think, how you work, what motivates you. And I'm saying that as a leader, right? A person who is managing teams with people from your generation. So if I listen to you, if I understand what's in your head and what drives you, I become a better leader, because then I know how to motivate you. But of course it takes willingness and openness, right? If you listen and you see these differences and you get annoyed by them, of course it will not be productive and effective, right? But if you actually say, okay, fine, it's different behaviors, different patterns, how can I use them effectively in my work? It just makes me a better leader. So, and technology would be the second aspect on how we can be more open and brave, just to grab it and use it in our work, and you just do it naturally, right? It's part of your life. You are not afraid of that. So if you open this world and this knowledge to us, that would be a big value. That's how I would see it.
Oh, I can share my my experience from one day ago, because I told you before the panel that I listened to many podcasts in the train, and I come across a podcast with Chip Conley and Waldemar Olbrich, and I heard a great sentence that is related to what you said, that people want to learn to get something from mentoring and reverse mentoring. So I have heard that a modern older is a person who is as curious and eager to learn as he's wise. So do you agree with that?
Again, the quote, the sentence. Can you repeat the
okay,
quote?
Yeah. So the modern older is a person who is as curious and eager to learn as he's wise.
As he's
wise,
okay. Yeah, I guess yes. That there is lots of truth in it, and we actually also discussed about how you identify yourself, right? Are you described by being Gen X or Gen Z, or it's more like who you want to be and how you want to be described? So yes, lots of truth in that. Let me, Amelia, now ask you about ESG, because that's my passion, right? I work on ESG topics now professionally, and I want to understand how you approach ESG, especially when you are a candidate to work or you are a consumer, right, and you make your consumer choices. Is ESG for you an obligation that you follow, or it's the way of life, or maybe it's something different?
It's a way of life. I think that it comes naturally for us, and that's because, of course, we see everything online. We from the times we got our first smartphones, or where we watched televisions with our fathers and mothers, with our family, we saw those problems online. We could get information that happened across the country, across the globe, in the same time. So we grew with the problems we saw. we grew up in pandemic. I was in 8th grade when the pandemic started, so I had to adapt to it, and I had to be more sensible about the problems such as pandemic, such as environmental issues that happened before and are happening right now. So I simply saw those problems online almost every day. I'm scrolling TikTok and I see those videos which shows the situation or in other countries, or the complaining of people who need help in current situations. So I'm just more sensible to these problems, and the ESG comes natural for me because I see it every day. I saw it when I was 6, I saw it when I was 10, and I'm seeing it now.
Thank you. And you just confirmed that those employers who really have ESG in their DNA, they will have a competitive advantage on the employment market when it comes to candidates from your generation. I know the time is coming to an end, so let's maybe take some questions from the public, if there are any. Guys, do you want to ask anything, Amelia, Generation Z, or me,
Agnieszka?
Generation X? Okay, if not, then I will have the last question to you.
And I will have the last question for you then.
Should I go first?
Yeah, okay.
Let me go first. So, I don't want us to remember the stereotypes that we mentioned. I want you to say one thing that you want all of us to remember about Generation Z. What would it be?
Okay. I would say we are young, we make mistakes, we have faults, but we are simply really excited for the future. We have a lot of years ahead of us. We want to create a better future for ourselves. So remember that even though sometimes we seem to be arrogant, impatient, we have the great goal in our minds to live a better life, to create a better future, and we will do everything we can to achieve that. So don't look at the stereotypes and the media headlines. Look at us, talk with us, listen to us, and try to find the good in us, not only the bad.
Thank you.
Okay, so my last question will be related also to the panel and to the reverse mentoring, because we talked a lot about reverse mentoring before the session. So maybe you could tell me, and you can tell the audience, why is reverse mentoring worth it? Why is it good to try this kind of different situation and different kind of mentorship?
I already mentioned one reason, becoming a better leader when I know what motivates you, what drives you, but there is also the second one. I'm a mother of an 18-year-old son who is in the age of Amelia. So to me, this conversation with you, but also with my son, when he explains me how he sees the world, makes me a better mother, because I know what is important for you guys at work, for my kids at home. I know what drives you and what matters to you. So it makes me a better leader and a better person. Thank you.
Thank you.